The business office for the Division of Enrollment Management and the Student Experience is located in the basement of Kettler in G54, next to the bursar's office. For the most part, you will not need to visit the business office except for contractual agreements, questions for risk management, account reconciliation, and audits. Contractual agreements are written contracts or agreements for all purchases of services and commodities such as entertainment, bus rentals, hotels, and group flights. Only the business manager is allowed to sign contracts, even if the funding is out of your own pocket. If it is for an organization's event, you are acting on behalf of the university, and the business manager must sign those forms. The first steps in having the contract signed is to get a quote for the service and email a copy of it to the business manager. The business manager's email address is available in the back of the handbook. You will also want to upload a quote into Community to keep record of the request. Once the business manager signs the contract, they will send it back to the officer completing the request. That officer will then be responsible for returning the signed contract to the service provider. It is important to note that all finances must go through the student organization bursar's account. No outside checking accounts are permitted to be used. All funds must be deposited immediately. If you are accepting cash in an event, you must use a lockbox and 2 people must be present when depositing money to ensure safety and security. Credit card apps such as PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Square, and credit card machines are not acceptable forms of payment. Each student organization is required to maintain a complete set of financial records using the Community and Cool web applications. Other records can be kept in programs such as Excel, Google Spreadsheets. However, it's important that you upload this information into Community so that you can give access to the advisor and other officers. An annual audit is also performed each year beginning on July 1st to verify figures for annual reporting. As a recognized student organization, you are also exempt from paying taxes. The forms needed for tax-exempt purchases are available in the Documents section of Community. All funds should be deposited into your account immediately. There are deposit forms in the bursar's office to the left on a small table. Each deposit slip should have the full organization's name spelled out clearly. Do not use acronyms, as the bursar's office does not record by shortened names, and the funds may be misplaced if the form is not filled out correctly. Your organization's account number, also known as an SOA number, must be present on every deposit slip, along with the detail code for all incomes and expenses. A list of these numbers is located on the sheet with the forms. When you bring the deposit slip to the bursar, the cashier will recount the funds and initial the deposit slip. After the deposit has been entered, the transaction should be recorded for your own accounting purposes by your treasurer. When making check requests, an invoice, bill, statement, or receipt must be present with each request. Bills must be itemized. If you're making purchases for things like pizza, be sure to let the store know that you need an itemized receipt. If you do not have an itemized receipt, you will need to work with the business office to fill out additional paperwork. Once checks have been processed and are available for pickup, the Student Life and Leadership Office will email the organization or the student to which the check has been made out to. Checks will then be available in Student Life and Leadership for pickup. The remaining portion of this tutorial will go over how to use the Cool web application. Cool stands for Central Office Online and is the web application student organizations will use to make check requests. To access Cool, you're going to go to www.coolfaces.net/coolpfw. This will bring you to the login screen, where you're going to sign on with your PFW student user ID and password. Once you enter this information, go ahead and log in as normal, and it's going to bring you to the Cool system. This will display all of your account information, including your name, phone number, email address, and the student organization that you're with. In this case, we have Mastodon Student Association, and I have myself as the president, and then it gives the beginning and ending date for access to COOL. The next screen, once you click on the student organization name, will bring you to the student organization banking page. That gives you details for the student organization name, what type of organization it is, and the SOA number. You'll also be able to see other officers that have access to the system, people you've paid, and any unattached documents. The rest of the information on this screen provides information about the account and transactions that have occurred in the past, but the most important part is your current balance. To access the banking access, you'll click on the banking button. And this is where you're going to enter all of your transactions or check requests. Again, you'll see the current account balance listed here. Payments in process, payments, which are any payments that have been made, deposits, transfers, other activities, payees, and unattached documents. We're going to go ahead and go into the payments so you can kind of view what type of things may have happened in the past. There's two different areas that you can actually click to create payments, either on the payments in process or payments. Since we're in the payment screen, we're going to go ahead and enter there. You'll see search for and add payee. If you have a payee that's been in here before, you can click on the search for, but since we don't have a payee, we're going to go ahead and click on that and add a new one. So we're going to use Donna Mastodon. And we're going to check payee. Of course, we know that she's not in there, so we're going to go ahead and click Request New Payee. You're going to go ahead and enter in the address information. We'll just use the school address. And it looks like it's been used before because it's pulling it up, so we'll go ahead and select that. Another thing you're going to want to do is click on Copy to Mail. Oh, it looks like I didn't put the city in. Sorry about that. Okay, we went ahead and put all the address information in there. We're going to put copy to mail. This is going to go ahead and copy the email, or not the email, the address down below. You're also going to want to put an expense code associated with this address. If you don't, it's going to go ahead and give you this error. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK and select the expense code. There are quite a few of these, so you're going to want to scroll through to find the appropriate one, and then go ahead and hit continue. Now Donna Mastodon has been added into the system as a payee. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And you'll see that she is now listed under the payee. For the check memo, you don't have to put anything in there. I always try to put something in there just so that we know what's going on. You can get in the habit of putting your SOA number in there as well. And there's a notes section for any other notes that you want. So we're going to say for this event that we were doing a homecoming activity, and this was office supplies that we needed for this project. We're going to go ahead and select the date that we're doing it. And we have to select that expense code again. I'm just going to do office supplies. We'll say we bought a bunch of markers. And the cost for it. So this is what is going to be on your receipt or your invoice. And I'm just pulling up a receipt right now that I have that I can use. So once you do that, you're going to hit continue. And this is where you're going to want to take a picture of the receipt that you have or scan a copy of it. You can upload JPEGs, so taking a picture on your phone will work just fine. And you're going to click on Attach Documents. And you're going to click on that little paper with the little star at the top left corner again to start a new attached document. And you're going to go ahead and browse for that document. Once you browse for it, you'll select it out of your list of options. So we're going to select mine and hit save. If you want to put descriptions, you can go ahead and do that too. And now you'll see the attached documents listed there. If it didn't attach, it would be listed in the unattached documents. And you can see that I was the one that entered that, which is why it said transaction approval. And we're going to go ahead and save it. So now we go ahead and we're on the payments in process. It shows that it's been processed. We're going to go ahead and OK that. And it's going to send an email to all of the officers that are listed and the advisor. And if we click on payees, we'll go ahead and we'll see that Donna Mastodon's entered there and all the information's here. The next screen you'll be able to see, this is the email that you would get letting you know that a transaction has occurred. This is what goes out to all the emails and officers. You can click on the hot link for Cool, and it's going to go ahead and bring you to the single sign-on again. Go ahead and sign in as normal. It's going to bring you to the Cool page. You're going to go ahead and select your student organization name. If you have multiple organizations that you are a part of, you may have multiple ones in there. Again, we'll bring back to the Mastodon Student Association. We'll click on banking. And the next screen, you're going to go ahead and you'll see the payment that's in process. There's that circle with the check mark and the red slash through it. You'll click on that, and it's going to bring you to the information for the payment. You'll want to go ahead and click on payment documentation. And this will show you if there's a receipt attached or not. Be sure if you're a second signer that you're double checking to make sure that the receipt is accurate. Also, we do not reimburse for alcohol, so please make sure that you are not buying alcohol. And then go ahead and hit approve. Once that's done, go ahead and select OK, and then sign out as normal. When a student organization begins, it starts with zero funding. It is up to the student organization to look for opportunities to raise funds. This is done through membership fees, fundraising, solicitation of funds, and sponsorships. All fundraising, solicitation, and sponsorships require an approval that is initiated through putting a request into community as a fundraising event. Once submitted, the activities coordinator will review the request, and if further paperwork is needed, Student Life and Leadership will reach out to you for that information. Some requests, such as sponsorships, require a special approval from the Development Office to ensure that we are not overlapping with projects or donors that they are currently working with. Other options for funding include the Student Government Startup Fund. Student government funding can also be allotted for activities within Allen County to support the organization's activities. When requesting funding, you will need to fill out the funding request form through student government and present your request in front of Senate. Student travel funding is another request that requires presenting in front of a committee. Both individual students and groups can request funding to go on conference trips, compete in competitions, or go on trips where you volunteer your services. As I mentioned, when requesting funding for student government or for the travel committee, you will be required to present your proposal to a committee or to the student senate. Some things that you want to take into consideration in your presentation may include how this money will help your organization and the Purdue-Fort Wayne community. What are you hoping to learn from your experience, and how will that information be brought back to your organization? Why should they invest in your group or in your organization? Have you tried doing fundraising or search for other opportunities to raise funds? These are all things that they're going to ask when doing your presentation. They want to see that you have exhausted all of your resources to secure funding from multiple sources. Entering events and tracking all of your attendance in community is a good way to prove the impact that your organization makes on campus. Student Life and Leadership can help you run reports to provide figures on the events that you have had and how many people have been a part of those events.